What would you do if a nosy relative saw you performing a private medical routine and, instead of respecting your privacy, decided you were a drug addict and staged a full-blown intervention? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. My name is Leo. I'm 27, and I have a medical condition that causes me to overproduce earwax. It's not something I broadcast. In fact, only my wife and my parents know about it because I was relentlessly bullied for it when I was a kid. To manage it, I have a strict regimen. Every other day, I have to put medicated drops in each ear, let them sit for a while, and then flush everything out using a special rubber-tipped syringe. It sounds like a hassle, but this routine is what prevents a cascade of much worse problems: chronic ear infections, vertigo, a worsening of my tinnitus, and even permanent hearing loss. I've had a taste of all of those, so I never, ever skip my eardrop schedule. The schedule is locked into my phone. If my alarm goes off while I'm out or with other people, I just excuse myself and find a bathroom for the 20 minutes it takes to get it done. I can't put it off, because if I break the routine, I'll forget. 2 weeks ago, my mom was hosting a family dinner. My 9:15 p.m. alarm went off as usual, though it was on silent, and I knew it was time. As I headed for the bathroom, syringe in hand, I ran right into my cousin, Chloe. She's 37 and has a reputation for being a gossip. She immediately asked what I was doing with that. Trying to be discreet, I just said it was for a minor medical thing, but she wouldn't let it go. She kept pushing, asking what kind of medical thing. Her eyes zeroed in on the syringe. I really didn't want to get into the gross details with her, especially since I knew whatever I said would be the topic of her next dozen phone calls. I told her it was personal and tried to scoot past her. When I came out 20 minutes later, she was standing there, waiting in the hallway like a sentry. Her arms were crossed. "What took you so long?" she asked. "And why didn't the toilet flush?" I just looked at her and said, "That's none of your business," and walked away. She called after me that she didn't mean to offend, but the seed of suspicion had clearly been planted. This reveals Chloe's greatest flaw, a dramatic flair that inflates minor curiosities into major crises, all centered on her own perceived heroism. It was a trait that guaranteed she would be the architect of her own embarrassment. Fast forward to last weekend. A good friend of mine called and invited me out to lunch with a few of our buddies. He suggested I meet at his house first so we could all ride together. I thought nothing of it and drove over, but when I walked in, the scene was all wrong. Sitting on the couch, looking like they were at a funeral, were my friends, and Chloe. The air was thick with a heavy, staged solemnity. Chloe stood up. "Leo," she said, her voice dripping with fake concern, "we're here to talk about your problem. We just want to help." I was completely bewildered. "I don't have a problem," I said, and then, like a lightning strike, it all clicked into place. The interrogation in the hallway, the syringe, the secrecy. She thought I was a drug addict. I couldn't help it. A small chuckle escaped my lips out of pure shock. Chloe's concerned expression tightened. "What's so funny?" she demanded. I looked at her, then at my friends. "First of all," I said, "if you were so genuinely concerned, why didn't you talk to my wife, or my parents?" She drew herself up, looking incredibly self-important. "I didn't want to involve your enablers," she declared. That did it. The chuckle turned into a full-on, hard laugh. It was just too absurd. One commentator later nailed the ridiculousness of it, saying, "Seriously, who says this person went into the bathroom for a mysterious reason? Ones that I know about, they must have a drug problem." Chloe's face went from annoyed to furious. "I'm done trying to help you," she spat, and stormed out of the house. "That's all right by me," I called after her. With her gone, the tension in the room broke. I turned to my friends and explained everything: the earwax condition, the medication, the syringe, all of it. They knew I had some sort of condition but had never pressed me for details. I guess when Chloe approached them with her wild, dramatic story, they got worried and thought I might have been lying to cover something up. I told them I'd rather they know the embarrassing truth than worry I was an addict. I also pointed out how dangerous her actions were. One person online brought up a terrifying point I hadn't even considered. What if somebody shared this information with your employer? Depending on your profession and your employer, you could have been suspended or lost your job. Chloe spreading these lies could have had catastrophic consequences for me. I thanked them for at least being willing to show up for me, even if they were completely misguided. It turns out Chloe had gone through my social media to get in touch with all of them. We all started laughing about the sheer insanity of it. A good, hearty laugh that filled the room. It must have been loud enough to hear from the driveway because, of course, Chloe had been eavesdropping. The door burst open again and there she was. "Tell them the truth," she shrieked. I just looked at her calmly and said, "I did. That was the final straw for my friend, who owned the house. He got up and kicked her out for good. We finally went to lunch, and I thought the whole bizarre episode was over. But it wasn't. Yesterday, my mom called. She'd spoken to Chloe, who was apparently still furious with me. My mom explained the whole situation to her, but Chloe was now claiming that I was the asshole for not just telling her what was going on in the first place, and for laughing in her face and embarrassing her. I told my mom I was embarrassed. She had no right to my private medical information. She shouldn't be snooping, cornering people, and then inventing dramatic stories when she doesn't get the answers she wants. My mom, ever the peacemaker, still thinks I should be the one to apologize to smooth things over. This story is a powerful reminder that respecting personal privacy is paramount, and that fabricating a crisis based on snooping and assumptions will only expose your own foolishness. Have you ever had someone jump to a wild conclusion about you? And how did you handle it?